Okay. Hello. In the last class, we have discussed about what do you mean by conservatism. Okay. What do you mean by conservatism? Conservatism was a political idea, like liberalism, like nationalism. Conservatism also a political idea, followed by European government after the defeat of Napoleon in 1815. Actually, in 1815, Napoleon was defeated. After the defeated upon Napoleon, one new idea was started in the Europe that is called conservatism. That is called conservatism. Then, what is the real meaning of conservatism? Conservatism believe in preserving traditional institution. Means the conservatives means the person who follow conservatism. Their main belief is preserving traditional institution. What do you mean by traditional institution? Like monarchy, like church, social hierarchy, property, family value. Means before the French Revolution, whatever the traditional institution were there in the Europe, that should be implemented. Okay, they wanted to protect old tradition and established system of a society. Okay, that means okay, their believe in preserving traditional institution. That means the next question is, were conservative against moderation? In the last class we understand no, they are not completely against for moderation, but they believed moderation could strengthen traditional institution like monarchy. That means with monarchy you should do the development. Okay, the conservatives main intention is you should protect the old institution and you should do the development. Okay, but but the traditional institution should be there. Okay, then here there are some point you should understand. Conservative are the supporter of modernization or the against of modernization. Okay, then next thing, what was the Treaty of Vienna of 1815? Whatever it is a main provision. Okay, this is the main important question. In 1815, representative of Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria meet at Vienna after defeating Napoleon. Actually, there was a war called the war name is just what I'm telling. The war name is Napoleon Waterloo. Okay. Just wait. In War of Waterloo, in one side Napoleon is there, in another side the collision of four countries. The collision of four countries: Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria. These four countries' army defeated Napoleon in 1815 at Waterloo. Waterloo. Okay. After this, the meeting was called the Congress of Vienna. After defeating Napoleon in Waterloo War, they create one meeting. Okay, this meeting was nothing but Congress of Vienna. It is called as a Congress. Congress means group meeting. Okay, it was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. Okay, look, Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, four countries who defeated Napoleon. So this Vienna is in Austria. This Vienna is in Austria. No, Austria. The Vienna is in Austria, and the meeting was hosted by whom? Duke Metternich. It is such an important question. The Treaty of Vienna was signed in 1815. When it was signed? 1815. So what was ETC provision? What was ETC provision? Treaty means some provision should be there. It is a main aim was to undo the changes made during the Napoleon Wars. Whatever Napoleon was changing by defeating different country, that should be returned. Okay. The Bourbon dynasty was restored to power in France. In France, the Bourbon dynasty means Louis XIV, Louis XVI, they were again came into power. Okay. France lost the territory conquered by Napoleon. During Napoleon, France occupied Switzerland, France occupied Austria, France occupied Belgium. These all are lost. This every territory lost under the provision of a Treaty of Vienna. Okay. Strong states were created around France to stop future French expansion. Look, around France, strong states were created because in further in future, if any expansion will comes from Britain, is comes from France, it should be protected. It should be protected. Okay. Then the Kingdom of the Netherlands, including Belgium, was created in the north. Just wait, I am showing you the image. Otherwise, you don't understand what I am telling. Where is the map? Where is the map? Yes, this is the map. Look, initially what they did, the Bourbon dynasty was restored to power. France lost the territory conquered by Napoleon. Look, this area is conquered by Napoleon. Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, all these areas are conquered by Napoleon. Napoleon. And look, how France. The Kingdom of Netherlands. Look, where is the Netherlands? I am zooming the diagram. See, this is Netherlands. This is Netherlands, including Belgium. In the southern side of Netherlands, Belgium is there. Okay, was created in the north. Look, to protect France expansion theory, expansion policy in future, they created strong state around France. In north, what they did before this Treaty of Vienna, Belgium was not there. Okay, they created a new state in the north, Belgium, separating from Netherlands. Okay, then Genoa was added to Piedmont in the south. Here in Switzerland, Italy, they create another state. Okay, and this is the today map. Prussia received new territory on its western frontier. First, Prussia means Germany. Prussia means Germany. Western frontier. Western means this side. They also get some part. Austria got control of northern Italy. Here Austria, this is northern Italy, but they got the power. Okay. The German Confederation of 39 states remained unchanged. The German has 39 part, na? 39 confederation. There was no change. Russia received part of Poland. The Poland is here. That time, all these countries comes under Russia. Okay. Russia gets some part of Poland. Okay. The main objective was to restore monarchies and establish a conservative order in Europe. Then what was the main provision inside the Treaty of Vienna? To establish monarchy, to establish traditional institution in the Europe. Okay, that was the main intention of a Treaty of Vienna. Okay, they did these changes in the Treaty of Vienna. Okay, then what were the features of the conservative regime set up in 1815? Look, before Treaty of Vienna, the liberation, the nationalist, they were getting democracy, freedom, okay, justice. But when this Treaty of Vienna was enacted, after this liberation, this nationalization, lost all these things. So we can say in one side, liberalism, nationalist versus conservatism. Okay. So now the whole Europe like one battlefield. They established after defeating Napoleon, they established monarchical form of government in Europe. But it was not easy. Because people already know what does the meaning of democracy, freedom, justice. Okay. So look, what happening after Treaty of Vienna? The conservative regimes established in 1815 were autocratic in nature. Autocratic means absolute power. There is no restriction on their power. They did not allow criticism of opposition against the government. Means you cannot, you never criticize government. Okay. They tried to suppress activity that questioned autocratic rule. Whatever the activity you are doing against the autocratic rule, that should be suppressed by the conservative. Okay. Censorship laws were imposed to control newspaper, books, plays, and songs. This is the these are the main thing which create nationalism feelings throughout the Europe. So the conservatism or the autocratic power try to stop all these things. Okay. Idea for liberty and freedom link with the French Revolution were restricted. Means whatever the meaning of a liberty, freedom, all things were stopped by the conservatism. Okay. Despite this, the French Revolution continued to inspire liberals. After doing these many things, the liberals, the revolutionaries, the nationalists who were are that in the society, they again try to took new system. Okay. Liberal nationalists oppose the conservative order. Freedom of the press become one of the major demands. The look means after replacement of a Treaty of Vienna, after the provision of a Treaty of Vienna was enacted, this was the problem. Okay, means the time came, same 1789. Whatever the situation were there in the 1789 European society, again that was starting in Europe. Okay. Then the revolutionaries means, look, before this we already cover aristocratic class, middle class, then we learn about liberal class, then nationalist class already we know. Now after 1815 one new idea were emerged in Europe, that is called the revolutionaries. Okay, what is the difference between this liberal, nationalist and revolutionaries? Liberal means silently, means prayer, petition, protest. They did not took arms. Okay, took arms. हाँ, action नहीं लेंगे, prayer करेंगे, protest करेंगे, petition करेंगे. Like in India also, if you came to India from 1915 to 1947, two types of freedom fighter are there. One Gandhian, one revolutionary. Gandhian means the person who supported Gandhi idea, non-violence, non-violence. Revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, like Subhash Chandra Bose, they were revolutionaries. Means their idea was, with action we will get the success. Without action it will be never happen. Like this, after the implementation of 1855 Vienna Treaty of Vienna provision, one new group were created in Europe. Okay, who were revolutionaries and what were their intentions? Revolutionaries were people who opposed the monarchical government established after the Congress of Vienna. Okay, after the Congress of Vienna, after the Treaty of Vienna, whatever the monarchical system was created inside Europe, these revolutionaries were opposed them. Many liberal nationalists became revolutionaries after 1815. Look, liberal means, nationalist means they also trying to changes in the society, but not violently, But these revolutionaries try to changes in the society by hook or by crook. If to changes in the society, you can take arms, you can take violent. Okay, this is the main idea of a revolutionaries. So many liberal nationalists, because before this revolutionaries already two groups were existed, na? They were changes into revolutionaries. Okay. Fear of a repression forced them to work secretly underground. Actually, in power now after 1815, the power is conservative hand na. Uh, these revolutionaries were against the conservatism. So due to repression, due to fear of repression means उनको मार देंगे, उनको बंद कर, हाँ, so they work underground, secretly underground. Okay, means look, suppose here one meeting is going on, they coming and killing the, destroying the meeting, then hiding in the society. Okay, like this. Secret societies were formed in many European countries. Secret society means the group of revolutionary. The group of revolutionaries were create their secret society in many European countries. Okay, these societies trained revolutionaries and spread revolutionary idea. Then what was the main intention of this secret society? To train revolutionary, because if you want to fight against the king, you should have knowledge na. Okay. Then revolutionaries fought for liberty and freedom. What was the main intention of revolutionaries? Liberty and freedom, which was stopped by Treaty of Vienna, They wanted to end autocratic and monarchical rule. They believed that creating nation state was necessary for freedom and nationalism. Look, our main intention is nationalism. Okay, to get nationalism, whatever happening in the Europe, we are studying in this chapter. So what happening after Treaty of Vienna? Conservatism came into power, and they did all these things whatever happening before 1789. Okay, so opposition of a conservatism, one new idea were emerged in Europe, that is called revolutionary. The revolutionary demand was liberty, freedom, end of autocratic rule, monarchical rule, and it will happen when our state become nation state. When we become nation state, then the revolutionaries' main intention is to convert these multinational dynasties into nation state. Okay, you understand the question? Who were revolutionaries? If the question comes like who were revolutionaries were the people who active after Treaty of Vienna. They worked secretly because if they did not work secretly, they will suppressed by the government. Many secret society were formed in the European countries. Okay, their main intention is to train the revolutionaries and spread the revolutionary idea. And they were the support of liberty, freedom, and of autocratic and monarchical rule. Okay, one of the revolutionary was Giuseppe Mazzini. Okay, who was Giuseppe Mazzini? Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary and nationalist. If you look the map, this is Italy. Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolutionary and nationalist. Okay, he was born in Genoa in 1805. Genoa, I think Genoa was a city in Italy. He became a member of the secret society. If you remember, many secret society were created to train the revolutionaries. He became a member of the secret society called the Carbonari. Carbonari, one secret society in Italy. They become their member. In 1831, he was sent into exile for attempting a revolution in Liguria. Look, Liguria is a coastal region in the northwestern Italy. Okay, in the northeastern Italy, there was a place called Liguria. So he was starting the revolution in Liguria, but caught by the conservatism and sending out from the country. He founded the secret society Young Italy in Marseilles. Marseilles is a major city in France. Look, initially they tried to implement a revolutionary idea in Liguria. Liguria is in Italy. Liguria is in Italy, but caught by the conservatism and threw out from the country. Then he went to Marseilles. Marseilles is in France. Marseilles is in France.
Major.
They created another secret society called Young Italy. Called Young Italy. Then later he founded Young Europe in Berne. Berne is the capital of Switzerland. If you look, this is France, this is Switzerland, this is Italy. Okay. Initially, they started the revolution from Liguria, but removed from the country. Then go to Marseilles. Marseilles create Young Italy. Then in Berne, Berne means capital of Switzerland. Create another young country, Young Europe. Okay. Young Europe included young revolutionaries from Poland, France, Italy, German state. Mazzini believed that nations were the natural unit of mankind. That means, what was Mazzini's thinking? Nations formation is the natural unit. Natural unit means it was created by God. It was created by God. But this conservatism were against the God. That's why they stopped the natural unity or nation state. Okay. He wanted Italy to become a single unified republic. He was from Italy, so he was trying to make Italy as a nation state. Okay. He believed Italian unity was necessary for liberty and freedom. Why they try to form Italy as a nation state? Because to get liberty and freedom. Because liberty and freedom and stop the autocratic rule. These are the main intention of revolutionaries. Na? His idea inspired secret society in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland. Okay, he was from Italy. His idea was inspired the revolutionaries in France, Switzerland, and Poland. Conservatives feared his idea against monarchy and support for democratic republic. Automatic conservatism were feared, na? Because Mazzini were against the conservatism. Metternich, who was Metternich? He was a conservatism.
Conservatism का वो बनाया था.
Called him the most dangerous enemy of our society. Yeah, Metternich told Mazzini was the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Means whatever the conservatism were create inside Europe, that is called the traditional institution. The most dangerous enemy was Mazzini. Okay, you understand the concept of Mazzini? Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian revolution. Okay. Some of the I don't think so. A long question will come, but short question like Young Italy, who founded Young Italy, where founded it Young Italy. Okay, you have to read once, go through once the note. Then the age of revolutions. Look, you can ask one question, sir. Where these revolutionaries got the success? No, they are not. The question is, where all these revolutionaries get the success? No, they were not getting the success properly, but partially they got the success. Partially they got some success. Okay, but look, from 1815 to 1830, these revolutionaries were working secretly. But in 1830 to 1848, they fought in front of the king. Okay. So this period is called the age of a revolution. Age of a revolution. Why did revolutions begin in many parts of Europe? You already know the reason. Because conservative rulers wanted to keep their power. People wanted freedom and equal right. Nationalism and liberalism become popular. This led to revolution in many European regions. If someone asks the question, why after 1830 the age of revolution was started? Because look the idea, na. The minority people try to, minority means the people who were in less, they were trying
हाँ
to put conservatism in Europe, but people wanted freedom and equal right. Nationalism, liberalism, or revolutionaries were become popular in Europe. That's
ये
why that's why the revolution started in many part of a European region during this time period. During this time period, which idea were connected with revolutionaries in Europe? During this revolution, the liberalism, nationalism, and also revolutionary idea were connect the people throughout the Europe. Okay, name some region where revolutionaries took place. From 1830 to 1848, 1830 to 1848, mostly the revolution was in Italian state,
Italian
German
states.
state, Ottoman Empire. I will say you what do you mean by Ottoman Empire. Ireland, Poland. Look, if you remember, in Treaty of Vienna, some part of Poland was given to Russia.
हाँ
Ireland that time, Ireland comes under UK. Ireland comes under UK. And you know, some part of Italy, some part of Italy were given to whom? Look, I forgot. Treaty of Vienna. Treaty of Vienna, where Treaty of Vienna, Austria, France lost territory around France and Kingdom of the Netherlands. Okay, Genoa was added to freedom in the south. Prussia received the territory, it is a western frontier. Austria, look, due to
ऑस्ट्रिया
look,
नॉर्थ इटली का कंट्रोल मिला
what was the problem in Poland? Through Treaty of Vienna, they gave some part of Poland to Russia. To
रशिया
Russia, Ireland, it was under control of a United Kingdom, UK. German state, same problem, 39 political unit inside German state. And Italian state, some part of Italian state were given to Austria. And they were facing most of the problem. Ottoman Empire means, look, Ottoman Empire province. Look, I was showing you. Look, there is a city, it is a country called Greece in the west, in the southern side of Europe. Look, it is Greece. Actually, you heard about Alexander the Great?
हाँ हाँ नाम
Aristotle, Aristotle,
हाँ नाम सुना
he was from Greece. Means, and Greece having some greatest historical background. Okay, means the development, the idea was were emerged from Greece. Means in Europe, Greece country have some means good past. Okay, उसके बहुत सारे हिस्ट्री है. जैसे अकबर द ग्रेट was from Greece, Aristotle was from Greece, but that time Greece were under Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire. Remember, Ottoman Empire, the main problem is Greece people were Christian. Their religion were Christian. But Ottoman Empire rulers' religion was Islam. Okay? Look what happening. The king was supporter of Islam, means Muslim. And the subject were Christians. You understand the situation? That's why during this revolution, this 4 to 5, the most of the revolution took place in this 5 to 6 place. Italy, because some part were given into Austria due to Treaty of Vienna. German, some part were in Prussian dynasty, and 39 political state. You think inside the total Germany divided into 39 political state. Ottoman Empire province means the Greece, which was an ancient history. Okay, that is under Ottoman Empire. Ireland, it is under UK. Poland, some part of Poland given to Russia due to Treaty of Vienna. Who lead these revolutions? Look, from 1830 to 1848. It is such a large period of time, na? Leaders should be there. Leaders should be there. The revolutions were led by educated middle class people, such as, same middle class educated people means liberal
Hmm.
and nationalist, particularly professor, school teacher, clerks, commercial middle class member means who have some knowledge, educated person. The revolution, whatever happening from 1830 to 1845, the revolution were led by educated middle class people such as professor, school teacher, clerks, commercial middle class member. Okay,
Hmm.
what happened during the July Revolution of 1830 in France? So this revolution was starting from France. Starting from France. Always any revolution that's starting from France. Okay.
Hmm.
The first revolution took place in France in July 1830. Why this revolution name is July Revolution? Because it started in July 1830. You remember, under the provision of a Treaty of Vienna, uh, they created Bourbon King as the ruler of France. So in July Revolution, the Bourbon King were removed from power. Okay,
Hmm.
liberal revolutionaries led the uprising. A constitutional monarchy was established. Okay,
Hmm.
Louis Philippe became the new ruler. Who became the new ruler? Louis
Hmm.
Philippe. The revolution inspired other European countries like the French Revolution, because French Revolution inspired many people in the Europe. Na? Same thing. This July Revolution also inspired many people in European countries. A uprising started in Brussels. Brussels एक जगह का नाम है. Belgium separate from the United Kingdom. Look, Brussels is the capital city of Belgium. Look, initially this was happening in, sorry, look, this was happening in France. This was happening in France.
France.
Look, we are learning here from 1830 to 1848 what these revolutionaries do in Europe. Initially, they removed Bourbon King from Europe. Sorry, Bourbon King from France. They established constitutional monarchy. Then this is in France. What happening in Belgium? Look, an uprising started in Brussels, Belgium separate from the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. If you remember, under Treaty of Vienna, some part of Belgium were given to Netherlands.
Hmm.
Okay, so they separate from Netherlands. Okay, Brussels is the capital city of Belgium. Okay, look, here we learn during this revolution what happening in France, what happening in Belgium. Then come to Greek, Greek War of Independence. Greek means
ग्रीस के लिए
हाँ ग्रीस के लोग इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए क्या किए लोग Greece was under the Ottoman Empire since the 15th century. Remember, from 15th century, we are in 19th century. The last 400 years, Greece was under Ottoman Empire. Remember, Ottoman Empire means look the country. They were initial thing. They were Muslim persons. Their territory. Whole the Turkey comes under. Initially, this Ottoman Empire was starting from Turkey, then occupied most of the area of Europe as well as Asia. Okay, the Greece War of Independence began in 1821. When it started? 1821. Revolutionary nationalism in Europe inspired the Greeks. Okay, who inspired the Greeks to start War of Independence in Greek? Revolutionary nationalism. You remember what do you mean by revolutionary nationalism? Hello.
हाँ रिवोल्यूशनरी नेशनलिज्म मतलब वो लोग जो रिवोल्यूशन लाना चाहते थे जो
Yes.
करते थे
Greek living in exile supported the struggle. Many West Europe also supported Greece. Means look, why European people were helping the Greek war for independence? Because they know Greek has a great culture. Greek has a great culture,
Right.
and it is called as a cradle of यूरोपियन सिविलाइजेशन मीन्स यूरोप में जो ह्यूमन का सिविलाइजेशन ना वो ग्रीक से शुरू हुआ है ओके that's why this revolutionary nationalism were helped the Greece to become independent.
Independent.
Okay, look, initially the revolution was starting from 1821 but finally they get success in 1832 and you know this time is coming in between revolutionary period na 1832 1848.
Hmm.
Okay, Greek living in exile support of the struggle. Many West European also supported Greece. Poets and artists praise ancient Greek culture as Greece as the great cradle of the European civilization because Greek
Oh.
Greece has a huge ancient history means huge praised history. That's why they created public support against the Ottoman Empire. The English poet Lord Byron collected funds and fought in the war. Different example. Okay, Lord Byron died for a fever in 1824. Finally, the Treaty of Constantinople in
Oh.
1832 recognized Greece as an independent nation. Greece as an independent nation.
Nation.
So during this revolutionary era, we understand three country. One is France.
France, Greek,
Uh, they removed
Greece.
they removed Bourbon king and established constitutional monarchy.
Established constitutional monarchy
In
और
Belgium,
ग्रीस में
uh,
ऑटोमन
and
अम्पायर को हटा दिया ग्रीस में
in Belgium they created a separate Belgium. Okay, independent from Netherlands. Then in Greece, they under Treaty of Constantinople, Greek become in 1832. Greece become an independent nation.
इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया
Look, Greece is a country. Greek is the people who is living in Greece. Like India is the country, and Indian is the citizen name. Okay, like this. Greece is the country. Greek is the person who is living in Greece. Okay. Then my question is, okay, in Greek, who helped them to get independent? The revolutionaries, the liberalism, the nationalist from other country. Look, what happening here? Again France become nation state. Now Belgium become nation state.
स्टेट
Greece become
ग्रीक आल्सो बिकम नेशंस
nation state. Nation state means our chapter name you should remember. Unity. Unity means nationalism. This is how nationalism feeling again started in Europe. Again started in Europe. Okay. The romantic imagination and national feelings. Okay. Look, in the society, many sections are there who are creating nationalism feelings throughout Europe. Liberalism, a liberalist, nationalist, revolutionaries. Okay, but there are another sections also who help who help to increase nationalism feelings, but to spread nationalism feelings throughout the Europe. Okay, look, the romantic imagination and national feelings. How did culture and romanticism? Romanticism means it is one type of idea. It is one type of idea.
आइडिया
Okay, in the growth of a nationalism, sir. Did romanticism help the growth of nationalism in Europe? Yes. Like liberalism, like nationalism, like revolutionaries, this romanticism also help the growth of nationalism in Europe.
यूरोप
Then how? Then how? That is inside this. Okay. Nationalism developed not only through wars and territorial expansion. Means nationalism. created in Europe. That is not only through wars and territorial expansion. If you if you to consider Napoleon, nationalism was started by wars and territorial expansion. If you look liberal also, they were also some doing wars. Nationalists also same, revolutionaries also same. But there were on one sect of people who were following romanticism. Culture also played an important role in creating national identity. What do you mean by culture? What do you mean by culture? Culture means art, poetry,
Culture means
stories, music. Okay. Means this
mm,
romanticism, the people who were under romanticism, they took the help of art, they took the help of a poetry, they took the
poetry,
help of a
story.
storage and music, like Vande Mataram. In India, Vande Mataram is one of the example of a music who created nationalism feelings in India. Okay,
Mm,
Romanticism was a culture movement that supported nationalism. It is a cultural movement. It is a cultural movement means he took the help of art, poetry, stories, and music to help the growth of a nationalism,
growth of
not by wars and territorial expansion. If you look the other section like revolutionaries, like nationalist, like liberalist, their means process to get growth of nationalism were war and territorial expansion.
war,
But
territorial.
romanticism's method was a cultural movement. Okay, cultural movement means through art, through poetry, through stories, through music, we should create the nationalism feelings in Europe.
Citizen of Europe.
Romantic artists and poets criticized too much importance given to reason and science. They focused on
Mm,
emotions, institution, and mythical feelings. Look,
mm,
romantic artists and poets criticized too much importance given to reason and science. Means they were following emotions, institutions, and mystical feelings. They tried to create a sense of a shared heritage and common cultural past. Means what is your past? Based on this, you should create nation state. This common culture
mm.
become the basis of a nations. And today, the nation was created on the basis of emotions,
Emotion, institution,
institution,
intuition.
uh, intuition, then mythical feelings. How did language and folk culture help in the growth of a nationalism in Poland and Germany? Look, folk culture also comes under this
Uh, uh,
romanticism.
romanticism.
Okay, these are the method. Means under romanticism, they use art, poetry, stories, music, culture. Okay, to create national identity. To create national identity. Okay, so here look. Here we focused on two things: language and folk culture. Folk culture means how these two. These were the method of romanticism. Okay, in the growth of a nationalism in Poland and Germany. Particularly in Poland and Germany, how the language and folk culture help to create growth of a nationalism. Look, okay, hello, hello.
Ah,
That what first you have to understand what I mean by folk culture. Folk culture means the traditional culture of a common people in a society. It includes folk song, dances, folk stories, traditional music, customs. Okay, till this we have to stop the classes. Okay, tomorrow we have to complete the remaining things. Okay.